Hello, my name is Athena Mariah LaRue. I'm building a little company called Hard Shell Slimy Snail Productions. Come and join me on my journey. Can you believe it? It's been 10 months. 10 months. 10 months since we've been sheltering in place and dealing with a pandemic. I thought it would be nice to do a little bit of an update on what I've done in the past 10 months, the things that I've learned in the past 10 months, which has been large. It's been a lot that I've learned.
Oh my gosh, I just broke the egg.
It's been a very exciting year for me in regards to my making and ceramics journey. As you can see, I'm still in the process of converting my messy garage into a ceramic studio. It's not insulated. It's really cold in my garage right now and it's crazy hot in the summer. So we were thinking like it would be nice to put sheetrock up and to insulate it. But then I'm not working and it's the slow season for my husband, so investing a lot of money just really wasn't an option for us right now. So then I was thinking, what could I put on the walls? Because I'm sick of looking at this like empty space. I'm sick of looking at this ugly wall. And then I was like, oh, I have all of these beer labels that I've been collecting since the beginning of time. Every time I buy a 6-pack, I cut off the artwork from the beer label. Maybe I have enough to cover the wall. I didn't have enough to cover the wall. I covered a large part of the wall, but then I ran out. So I still have all of this wall to cover. So I'm gonna put it out to the YouTube universe that if there are any fellow beer drinkers out there and you enjoy a nice yummy beer, when you buy your 6-pack, cut off that little label, put it in a little envelope, and put my address on it and mail it to me, and I will cover my wall. So if anybody wants to help me out with that, that would be cool. I'll put my P.O. box on the screen somewhere for you to see, and maybe in the notes. That way you guys could mail me your beer labels. I would appreciate it. You could help me fill up my wall. That would be awesome. I took ceramics in high school and in college, but I never really focused my time using the potter's wheel. I learned how to use it. I understood the concepts of how to use it. But the reality is anybody that has ever done ceramics knows the potter's wheel is something you have to do over and over and over to get good at it. And I had never really applied and invested time into it because it was challenging. But I had a whole summer. I figured, you know what? Now that I have a kiln, I'm going to really learn how to use the potter's wheel. Unbeknownst to me, I did not know starting off with porcelain clay is the most difficult thing to do. But that's where I started. And it was really difficult. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult indeed. But that's okay, I overcame it. I ended up making a beautiful teapot, which I am so pleased that I was able to make something like that. Being pretty much a beginner using the potter's wheel and using the most difficult clay. My aunt gave me this huge bin of mystery clay. There's tons and tons of bags, well not technically tons, but hundreds of pounds of clay in, these clear plastic bags with no labels. So I don't know what type of clay they are. I've experimented with them. I've used the glazes that I bought on them, and the issue I kept having over and over and over again was crazing. It's driving me crazy with all this crazing. I decided to reach out to Mako because Mako is the brand that I got all my glazes from. Well, all of the glazes are really designed to be low fire. Some of them can go to high fire. I thought as a beginner, I would stick with one brand and I would try the different clay bodies that my aunt gave me. I kept getting the crazing issue. I decided to email Mako on their website. I'm not kidding you. Within 5 minutes, a customer representative called me. I'm not getting paid by Mako. Okay, this is not like a sponsored video. I'm just letting you know my experience because that just so happens to be the brand that I chose to use. And I was really impressed, first of all, that they called me right away. And the representative was so informative and very sweet. And she said, your problem is more than likely this clay body that you're using. You don't know what type of clay body it is. Possibly this clay body could be a stoneware that is designed to be at a high fire. I've never used a kiln before, so this is all news to me. I really have very limited understanding on using a kiln. So I asked, is there a clay that you would recommend me purchasing so that it works better with these glazes that I've already purchased? She recommended I buy an earthenware low fire clay body. Okay, now I have something to go with. I have this wonderful information, this piece of knowledge that I, for some reason, could not figure out on my own. We made it a little bit of a day to drive to Sacramento, and we found this really cute store that sells clay. And so I bought Laguna Whiteware EM342. This clay body is supposed to be fired to cone 06. So I'm really excited to try it out. I made a whole bunch of different things. I tried doing it with slab, I tried using it on the wheel. I even made little test tiles to sample the glaze with this clay body. I've never actually made test tiles before, but it seems like that's something that a lot of people do to test the quality of the clay compared to the glaze and how it reacts. Meow. Another thing I've been doing during this time is I have been having my friends and family join me on Zoom.
Hello and welcome to Athena's clay class. Today we're going to make a monstra leaf, little plate out of clay.
I originally wanted to just have my garage open to my friends and family so that they could just come over and play with clay with me. But obviously the circumstances are a little different this year and I didn't really feel comfortable doing that. So instead I've been doing Zoom classes where I've just been teaching really simple basic things, obviously, because I'm still learning and I'm not a qualified teacher by any means. We all log into Zoom, everybody has their own clay, and then once their project is complete, they just drop it off safely at my house and I fire it in the kiln for them. And they all understand that I'm a beginner and I'm still learning how to use my kiln. So they've been very forgiving when the glazes don't come out perfect. But so far their projects have turned out really great. Another thing happened this year, which kind of blew my mind. I posted some things on social media and I always tag the companies that I'm using just so they could be aware that I'm talking about their products. And Crest Kilns reached out to me and they said that they've really been enjoying my videos, which was so exciting. And then they asked if I would be willing to be in one of their ads for this magazine. Have you ever heard of it? Ceramics Monthly, people. Ceramics Monthly. So, of course, yeah. Okay, that's me! That's me! I'm in a magazine! I'm so excited. So I have a little part talking about me, and there's a little picture. Another thing that's been really inspirational for me during this time is a podcast called The Potter's Cast. Phenomenal. Every week he interviews a new ceramic artist, and they get to talk about how they learned about clay, their journey with clay, techniques, and also business techniques. And I've learned a lot from listening to that podcast. I listen to it when I'm working. It's fantastic. So if you haven't heard that podcast, I definitely recommend that as well. And since I recorded this little episode, I am very excited to announce that I am officially part of the Potter's Cast podcast. I was featured on episode 700. I will put a link in the description so that you could go directly to that and listen to it. I just feel so honored to be part of a special episode. So please go check that out as well. All right, let's go open the kiln. I think we're cooled off. How my glazes turned out with this new earthenware Laguna clay. Very excited. Everything turned out really great. No crazing. Yay! My test tiles turned out really good. I started at the top with 1 layer, the middle is 2 layers, and the bottom is 3 layers of glaze. And then with the underglaze, I did half with a clear glaze on top and then half without. I'm really surprised at how bright white the clay turned out, because in its wet form, the clay is gray. But after these firings, the clay is such a bright, bright white. So that was really surprising. But overall, everything turned out really, really beautiful. Thank you for joining me in my journey of learning ceramics. If you have any tips, please be sure to share them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe so you keep up with my progress and other creative projects that I do. Check out my website, hardshellslimysnail.com, to see what goodies I have for sale at my store.